Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Diamond Adjacent. Yes, it's a Tuesday. It's a James Sinclair artisanal Sudoku puzzle, and it is once again the third puzzle from his free series, where you get to pick your own adventure and essentially solve either the more difficult one or the one with fewer clues, which is the one that I'm going to be featuring today. That should be a little bit harder. Now, I did make a note of this somewhere. Let me have a look. There's a bit of a disparity between the two different puzzles today. So the one with fewer clues, he's given a 9 out of 10 rating. And the one with extra clues, he's giving it a 6 out of 10 rating. Now, based on how these play historically, that's kind of the one with fewer clues is almost like a 2, almost 3-star difficulty rated. The other one is more like a 1, almost 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be shy about trying the easier puzzle if I get stuck at any point. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set, which I think is fairly obvious why it's named, because there are lots of diamonds and there are numbers that are adjacent to it. Rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku, German whispers, quadruple circles, and black Kropke dots. And if you know what all of that means, you know what to do. There are 2 links in the description down below. Get to pick your own adventure, and one of them will be very clearly labeled with extra clues. On the off chance that you don't, the rules mean normal Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9, once each without any repeats in every row, every column, and then every 3x3 box. Then we have German whispers. Along green lines, digits differ from their neighbors by at least 5. If this cell is a 2, for example, these adjacent digits on the green line would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to be 5 or more away. Let's say they were 7 and 8 as a pair. Well, this cell would have to be a 1 because otherwise any other low digit would just simply be too close to the 7. Notice this pattern of oscillating between low digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, and back and forth you go. Quadruple circles, a digit inside a white circle must appear in one of the 4 surrounding cells. That is fairly self-descriptive. One of these 4 cells is an 8. One of these 4 cells is a 3, etc., etc. Then last but not least, we've got digits in cells separated by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. If this cell is a 2, for example, this cell would have to be 1 or 4, so that one cell is double the other. There's no mention of negative constraints, so I'm going to make the assumption they do not apply. If this cell was a 4 and this cell was a 2, that's going to be allowed under today's rules, where essentially there's clearly a 2 to 1 ratio, but no black dot. All fine. So, as always, to play along, you know what to do. Links in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm just going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'm not actually too sure where I'm taking this. I'm just having a think about it. One option is knowing that German whisper lines jump between different polarities with every other cell. Sorry, maintain the same polarity with every other cell. So if I use false color, if this is low, let's say orange, this will definitely be high, let's say purple, and then back to low, back to purple, back to orange. But the thing is, like, I'm struggling to see how I would link them across box 5. So placing in a bunch of like false colors for polarity, I genuinely don't think that helps at all. Now, the other thing that I'm also noticing is that we kind of have this pattern of a diamond leaning into a black Kropke dot going into box 5, and that feels significant. Significant enough for us to have a think around what that means. Right, let's state some obvious facts about these diamonds. On these cells, if I have a low digit, I cannot use a 4, because a 4 to be 5 or more away would be a double 9, and just the construction of these diamonds, even here, I know this doesn't close the diamond, but these 2 cells see one another, these 2 cells see one another. So in nowhere, at least on these cells, can I accommodate a 4 because of the double 9, or actually, frankly, a 6 because it would require a double 1 and both cells would see one another. So when you think about black crop dots digits for a second, we've got kind of the powers of 2, 1, 2, 4, and 8. We've got the 3s and 6s. And essentially, we are explicitly saying that none of these cells could be a 4 or a 6. So essentially, every one of these 4 cells is either 1, 2, 3, or 8. And that is now incredibly helpful once you pencil mark, because we've got polarity. The 8 inside the quadruple circle, and this is clearly how we're meant to get going with this, has been removed, because this cell is not part of this quadruple. So none of these could be an 8, and this one can't be a 3. That's probably significant. That may end up being the 8th, but we'll work through that. And then if we think about what are the digits that we have in the middle, given I don't have a 4, I can never have an 8. And given I don't have a 6, I can never have a 3. So essentially from the black Kropke dot digits, I can have 1, I can have 2, can't have 3, I can have 4, obviously from the 2, I can have 6, but I can't have 8. And we end up with a quadruple of 1, 2, 4, and 6. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But I did say we've got polarity, and then I kind of totally ignored that and didn't color anything in. So let me just fix that quickly. These are all lows. These are all highs. And we'll think about implications in a second. This cell, clearly because it's not a 6, that is definitely, excuse me, this is not a 3 because of the quadruple. This is definitely not a 6. So this one is also definitely low. Now this should be a bit of a clue. You can see that there is an immense amount of pressure that's building up in the columns and the rows around low digits. And my guess is, my intuition is, one of these, I mean, obviously one of these is a 6, but that one of them, for one reason or another, is going to break the puzzle. And then the question is, which one? Worthwhile stating that these cells, because they can't be 4 because of the double 9 challenge, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so it's probably worthwhile pencil marking that. That's not true in this one. This can actually be a 4 because it only sees one side because of that loose diamond, broken diamond, if that's a thing. That can absolutely be a 9. That could be absolutely a 4. And this one, they're not connected. Okay. I mean, I can do more pencil marks, but they generally seem to be not helpful. You know, these cannot include 6. These are 7, 8, 9s. Again, a 6 would require a double 1, even in this case, because it has two neighbors that see one another. So 6s are not allowed in any of these, but like, so what? Interestingly, this cell, whatever this cell is, Sudoku says is in none of these, it's going to be in here, in one of these two. So essentially, this 7, 8, 9 is actually different from these two. Yeah. And that's significant. How? I mean, the answer is almost certainly in Sudoku if I can see it. And because of the way that they all see one another, only one of these is an 8. Well, guaranteed one of them is an 8, and obviously only one of them is an 8. So the 8 is definitely not this cell. We know that because it sees this 7, 8, 9 triple that we have. virtual weird triple that we have. Yeah. And sort of struggling to join the dots of all of these deductions. How does that help us? I think we have to think about the A's just a little bit more clearly than I currently am. And there's clearly a lot of pressure on the A's. We've established it's not this cell. I can't quite see how that all comes together. Why does it come together? I mean, the other thing that we could try and explore is this cell low or high? I'm going to play around with this a bit. Just because of this pressure that we seem to have around low digits. I mean, my intuition says this is the 6. That putting it in either one of these two somehow puts too much pressure on the others. But like, that's just intuition. There's like no concrete thought behind it. So if these cells are low, this is 1 and 2. Because 3 is not available and 4 doesn't work, we'd have a double 9. So 1 and 2 specifically would have to be 1, 2 to get to 4. Given it's a 1-2 pair, I can't repeat the 2. And then that 4 would lead to a 6, a 3, 4 and 6. This would end up being a 1-2 pair. Yes, because that's 4 and 6. A 1-2 pair, that's only a 3. That's broken the puzzle. Right, so we can say for certain that this is high, this is high, these two are low, and therefore this is definitely an 8, this is definitely a 4. These, in fact, are now no longer 4s, and that's a 1-2-6 triple. Only one of which, of course, is the 6 with a 3 next to it. This would have to be 7 or 9. Again, it can't be 6 with a double 1. Again, same is true here. This is 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. This can still be a 4 with a 9 in here, so we haven't really ruled out anything there. One, 2, 3, 6 quadruple. 1, 2, 3, 6 quadruple. I'm not thinking clearly. One of these is 3. One of these is a 3. These are not 7s. This is an 8-9 pair. These are not 7s. This is an 8-9 pair. This 8-9, if you remember, we said has to be in the column in one of these two cells, which creates an 8-9 pair, forces this to be a 7. Therefore, that isn't a 3. This is a 1-2 pair. This is a 3. The 1 would lead to a 2, the 2 would lead to a 1, so that is definitely not a 6. That is another 1-2 pair. Oh, this is suddenly very interesting. And then we have a quadruple of 1, 2, 3. How did I miss all of this? Okay. And, you know, which one is the 6? It can only be this cell in row 6. So that's 6, that's 3, that's not 3. This is another 1-2 pair, and therefore that is not 6, that is not the 3, but then we have a 1-2 pair, that is the 3. And we are well and truly on our way at this point. We have our break-in. No 3 means 3 is in one of these two cells. This is not 7 or 8, that's a 9. Kind of rapidly running out of ideas again. 8 is in one of these two cells. Yeah. Like, I feel like the natural question I keep asking, and I'm really not getting a lot of this. 8 is not here, it's in one of these two cells, right? So the 8 in box, whatever this is, 5, well, no 8s. Quad circle says no 8s. Only place for an 8 is down here. That's 8, that's 9, that's 8. No 8, no 8, that's 8. We can probably finish the 8s. Yeah, Sudoku, no 8s, no 8s is an 8. Not quite here. 8s. Oh, it's such a good attempt. We were very nearly there. We've got the two 8s here. Then we've got tons of 8s. I mean, okay. Probably more Sudoku. Let's have a think. Oh, 9, 7. Come on. No 3, no 3 is a 3. That's a 1-2 pair now. Whereas 3 in box 5, it can only be in there. These are 5, 7, 9 in some order. Meaning that is not a 9 or a 7, so that's just 5. And more importantly, that is definitely the 8. Can't be a 9, which means that is the 9. Then 8 is in one of these three cells. We should probably think about these two and these two because they're there for a reason. 8 means that's not 4, 8. 3 means that's not 3, 6. So this is 1, 2, 4 with a definite 2. The 2 is not here. So this is 1 or 4, except it's not 1. That's 4, that's 2. On this side, again, we don't have a 3. So this is a little bit trickier with 1, 2, 4, 8. Don't have a force 2. 2, of course, gave me 1 and 2. Oh, it's going well. Come on, come on, come on. 7s, 7s is a 7. 1, 2 pair. We should be able to pencil mark the rest. 4, 5, 9, I'm going to say. 9 can only be here with the double 9. 4, 5 pair. 6 something. 1, 6. That's not 1. That's 6. That's 1. These cells now are 4, 6. We haven't done much with this 1, 2 pair. No, never mind. I was going to say for a second that it's definitely a 1. No, it isn't. I have a typo. That was an 8, not a 9. How did I get that so wrong? Sorry. Oh, wow. That is quite the typo. No, come on. 8. 8. Quite a significant typo. To be fair, 9s, and then 9 can't be on a black crop dot. Still same deduction, 9, 7, not 3, not 3, 1, 2 pair, 3, and then the 8 and the 3 means this is from 1, 2, 4. So like nothing has changed. It was actually fine, just for the wrong reasons. So I'm glad I've caught it. I can already see the comments about it. It's just a shame I had to undo all of that to confirm it's correct. 7 and 9 again. 7 and 9. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Can I do something with the 6s? Not yet. I'm missing something. I'm missing the 7 in here, which is still true. The 4, 5, 9 in there. Well, specifically the 9 in here. Then the 4, 5 pair. This 1, 2 is not here, it's in there, and therefore that's the 6. The 7, 9, of course, still gave me the 8, so that hasn't changed. The 6 gave me... Why is it different? 5 and 6? Yes, because I can't pencil mark. Because it wasn't 6, it was 3. 3, 5 pair. 5, 3. You know, one day, I will be able to pencil mark correctly. That day, sadly, is not today. The 8, of course, gave me the 9. The 8s are in one of these 3 cells. It absolutely could be here with a 4. Right, I think we're back on track. And it's probably a case of doing a bit of Sudoku to tidy up at this point. I'm not seeing any more value in how we're going to discern these. It's probably something I'm missing, almost certainly something I'm missing. Like it could be this black crop dot somehow. So have a think about 9s. No, not useful. 3s. 3s. So we need 7 and another 7 and 9, but it can't be this cell. So essentially it's up here, but it would have to be 7 because the 9 is not available. So that's the 9. Then in addition to the 7, I have 5 and 6. So 5, 6, 7 to complete the column. Okay. I feel like I'm really struggling with basic Sudoku here, and I'm not sure there's a good reason for it. I think I'm just either unfocused or... So 5, 6... So I need another 1, 2. That is not in here. It's got to be in one of these 2 cells. And then this 1, 2 is this 1, 2. Is this 1, 2, presumably. And this 1, 2 is in here somewhere, and therefore it's this 1, 2. Okay. Now if I have to, I can color code these. Kind of, well, that 1, 2 pair tells me that's the other 1, 2. And this is from 5, 6, 7, 8. No. That's for 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 4 or 5. In the column now, I have 4, 6, I'm going to say. No, like, suddenly feels like I'm missing like a really elegant conclusion to this hunting that I'm doing, and I'm just not seeing it for some reason. I mean, 5 and 9 plus another 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to see if I can figure out what is going on with these black Kropke dots. So in here, essentially, is another 8. Well, there's a 9. Let's try that. That's a 9. That's the only place for an 8. This is 4, 5, or 6. It is not a 6. That's my 4, 5. Okay. We're nearly done with 9s, aren't we? Well, there's another 9 somewhere in here. Nope, I can't type 9. Another 1, 2, and a 5. Nope. Maybe I should think about 4s a bit more. 1, 2, 1, 2. Just be kind. Be very kind. 4, 8, because it can't be 1, 2 or 2, 4. That's 8. That's 4. These are not 8s. And that's all the 8s done. So yeah, when I say there was a more elegant conclusion to this hunting, It was just, you know, open your eyes, sleuth. Right, we are kind of at the finish line, I would say. Finish line in the sense that we have almost squeezed out all the necessary logic out of this puzzle to allow Sudoku to take over. But as I've demonstrated many times, I can still make this look incredibly difficult. Yeah, not sure where. I'm just gonna systematically go through this. It's not the most elegant approach, actually. That too gave me another 1 in here. These are 3 cells I can just pencil mark. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5, 6, 7. This is not 7. I have 3 and 9. I need 1, 4, 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 4. No ones. That's the 1. This is 2 or 4. No 2s. That's the 2. So there's a 4 in here. So this is 3, 4, 9. 4 and 9 means that's the 3. This is a 4, 9 pair, which gives me my 6, my 5, 7 pair, my 4, my 5, my 6, my 4, another 5 or 7. I'll take it. Not like I have much of a choice. I have another 5, 7, a 3, and a 6. I can't see any of them. Okay. What about 4s? Yeah, 4, 2, 5, 4. I think that's... No, it's not 4's done. Up here, we can just pencil mark the lot. This is 2, 5, 9. Not a 2, not a 9. This row looks nearly complete. We need 3, 6, and 7. Not 3, so 6 or 7. Not 3, 6 or 7 is a 3, which gives me nothing. A 3 at least in here, which means that is not a 3. So that's the 3, that's the 6, that's the 7, that's the 6, that's 4, that's 6, that's 9, that's 4. That's the only place for a 9 now. It's not a 9, that's a 2, 5 pair. This is not 6. Don't know. This is a 5, 7, 5, 7. Nearly there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No 7. Only place for a 7. I can't do Sudoku. 7, 7, yeah. 5, 6, 5, 2, 1, 2. If I've not made any more silly mistakes, 5 for the finish. Excellent puzzle from Mr. Sinclair again. And like I'm happy with the variant part that I've done. And once again, I've just demonstrated that Sudoku can be really challenging for me, but it's a lovely concept. You have to spot the 1, 2, 4, 6. You have to determine that this is a 1, 2 pair, and then it breaks, and then it all slotted into place. I mean, it's an incredible break, and I'll be very curious about the more approachable version of this, just to see how that was simplified, because yeah, that is very subtle. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.